guys, it is Tammy with Cheers to Creativity, and I'm here to round off our Upcycle Challenge week. Our first thing I found to upcycle is this. Isn't this an adorable table? Now here's why it's super adorable. The top comes off, the bottom folds up. So how fun is that? So that's the first piece we're going to work on today. So I'm going to be adding some stencils and some other stuff to the surface of this. This is exactly how it came to me. So I'm not going to paint it. I might paint the edge when I'm done, but probably not. I started to look at which flowers would work well for this particular set and for my idea, because I wanted to kind of have all the way around so my center still could have something sitting on it, whether it's flowers, whether it's possibly an ice bucket that might have a plant, or could have a plant in it, or could have a bottle of wine or some lemonade. Who knows? But I wanted to have that for the option. All right, let me see if I can. Definitely frozen. I'm frozen on my end, but I don't think I'm frozen on your end. I think we're good. We all good? The new club design, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Okay, so one of the sets I'm going to be working from is the fresh cut sunflowers. And I love that there are so many options for these flowers. You could use these. If you wanted bigger ones, you could use the one that's from the home. If you wanted really big ones, here's that option. Couple smaller ones, and there's the sunflowers that are all in the back of the truck, so those could be a nice cluster. And I know the one I'm using, my husband just brought me, but we'll get to it in just a second. I have no idea where I put it. Okay, so set that one. That's one of the sets I'm going to be using. One of the other sets I'm going to be using is this springtime 3-pack. And this one again has flowers that you could use, or because I'm going to do that vine, we might want to incorporate some of these like leafy things. But there's these flowers, and then the third one has the one I'm going to be using. This happens to be the sunflowers I'm going to be using from the sunflower set. And this is the one I'm going to be using from the springtime 3-pack. So now I'm going to need those. And the last set I'm going to be working with is another 3-pack, and it's the one that has the fairies and the mushrooms. I do love the saying that says, but what if I fail or fall? I'm sorry, what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly? I think that's a great, great saying. But from that one, I'm going to be using just this part. So here's how we're going to get started. I'm going to get you down. Hang on, why is this doing this for us? All right, okay, we're gonna sit us down and get going. So I'm gonna put you down. Now this is a little bigger, but I'm gonna move it around so you can see it as we go around. Just one sec here. And the first thing I wanna do is just lay down a little bit of a vine. There we go. And so I'm actually going to be using I'm going to be using our detail brushes to begin with. And here we go. Okay, so our detail brushes, if you have not used them, are phenomenal. And they come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 of them in there. So you could use any size you want. The bigger ones are going to hold a little more paint. And I'm going to just grab some brown paint. You could, of course, just use a regular little liner brush too, a craft brush, just something like this, but we have the detail brushes, so I'm going to grab one of our detail brushes to use and just some water. I'm going to use this brown, and I'm just going to, and don't worry, this is not about freehanding, it's just about giving me just a little bit of a vine to start with, okay? Shoop. I wish I could see us, but I can't. So please, if I go off camera or something, let me know in the comments so I can make adjustments. I think we'll move us up a little bit just so we can see a little more. Okay, I'm just going to go around And I'm not even being very careful. This is a metal, it is metal, so I could use an enamel paint, which would often work well on metal too. I'm just using regular acrylic paint, and I'll just go back and I will seal it when I'm done. And I will seal mine with something like a polyacrylic. All right, I'm just gonna go around here one more time. Now, I don't have to have it all perfect, because I can come back after I do some of my flowers and add more if I need to. I'm gonna start off with the flower I said I wanted to use from the fairy one. And I'm gonna make sure I tape off what I don't do. Okay, my little dot up here, that is just when I get my stencils, I just take a quick moment and I look and see how they were cut. And how they were cut, whoops, wrong one, that one isn't gonna help me, is how I just mark them so that I have a better chance when I'm cleaning them that they're the right way. So I just take a peek at it and go, oh, you know what? The flower was painting up in the upper left hand. So I make a little dot. I'm gonna tape off what I'm not gonna need for this. I want these flowers to be kind of a purpley color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my purple color, and then I'm gonna make sure I have my greens that I'm gonna have a variety of greens. I like the Hauser greens. I like Hauser green light, medium, and dark. So that's what I'm gonna put on my plate. A little medium, a little light, a little medium, and a little dark. And I can use our brushes. I can use some sponges. Our brushes are back in stock. So if you were waiting to get some now. If you're watching while you're waiting for the next vacation stop, oh, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Okay, so I'm just going to lay this about where? About there. I'm gonna make sure I have a brush that I can use with my greens, because that way I can go back and forth. I think I'll just use a sponge for my purple flowers. I'm gonna have purple, and I'm gonna have a little white as well. That way I can kind of go back between the purple and the white and have some different shades. There we go. I'm using a sponge, but I still always go to my paper towel, something so I offload. So I'll set that aside just a second, pick up a little green on my brush. And I'm gonna lay in the green first here. So there's a little green here, a little green there. Maybe pick up a little darker green. Whoops, wild brush. How do you see everything? I think we're posting some of them on this page, and then if you happen to be a member of Stencil of the Month Club, lots of people are posting over there too. So I grab my little purple flower here. Okay. Let's take a quick little peek. I've shown you guys this many times. If you have to lift a piece and it's hard to get your stencil off, just use a piece of tape and it lifts off. So I've got that one there. I'm just gonna move this, and they don't all have to go the same way. I might decide this one's gonna go this way. And I'll come back with that purple sponge and add my little bit of my purple. And if I wanna lighten that up a little bit, I can pick up a little white. And so these might be a little lighter. Pick up a little of the green for the green stems. And I can lift that up, and I'm going to move my piece, and I'm going to add some more going this way. I got my green out, so let's go ahead and put the green down. Then I'm going to use my purple, and I'm going to offload onto my paper towel. Oh, got a little off here, but it's okay. I'm going to push it down into the corner. Lift that one off. Some more purple flowers. I'm going to turn it again. we're seeing this okay. I have hubby watching upstairs, so if it gets too off, I'm hoping he would come down and tell me. For whatever reason, I'm not able to see where we're at on my iPad. I can see the comments though, so that's kind of helpful. So I love to upcycle. Our business, Cheers to Creativity, is all about reclaimed, repurposed, renewed. So we've done a lot of recycled projects for a very long time. Okay, I want to pick up a little white just to give this one a little variation. Lift that off again. I'm going to go all the way around with this set, or these purpley flowers. Can you see that one? Okay. There's my little purple flowers. Pick up a little more paint and offload it. It is super easy. And this particular piece that I'm doing, as I was playing with the design, you really can get as elaborate as you want or keep it pretty simple. Because when I get this all the way done, I'll show it to you before I add the next flowers, it really would be okay just as it is. I'm gonna make this one come up a little higher here. Add in my green. And I'm just going back and forth in my green so I have some variation in my greenery. And same with my purple. Some of them are a little darker, some of them are a little lighter. And I think we've got one more to do with the purples. And I'm going to show this to you before I even add the next colors. So there's a little more purple flower, purple flowers, purple flowers, and offloading my green. Okay. Oops, a little piece of brown that I wasn't sure. So this is what it looks like just with the purple flowers. Okay. Not bad, not bad. But I want to add a few more. Of course I do. So I'm going to go ahead and first, if you guys do a lot of stenciling, I've really gotten to the point that I've gotten good and I at least mist them with water, if not awesome. And I'll just keep something like this. And even if I'm not going to get around to cleaning them right away, if I can just keep them so they don't dry out, it really does help. And the Awesome Cleaner has been my friend lately, especially after leaving a couple brushes that got a little too much. Okay, so this has a lot of options. Let's grab something black so you can see this real quick. So this flower, I would just be doing the outline, and then there's that little center. We've got little ones here that are a little more full, little clusters. And again, you've got those little leaf things that could fill in. So I'm gonna do, this is what I did on the last one I did. So let's be good and let's mark off what I don't need. I'm trying to do it as we tell you to do and not just always hoping I don't get it on the next thing. So I don't want those little flowers. I just want this big flower. So I'm just gonna take this off. I just think this is gonna be really pretty on the deck or in the porch, and I love that it's portable. All right, so I want these to be more on the pink side of things. So I'm gonna go with this color, but I'm gonna mix it with a little white, and I'll show you why in just one second. So I'm gonna have one dot that's the regular color, and one dot that I'm gonna mix with a dot of white, just to make it a little lighter. Of course, I could use a different shade, excuse me, but you can just lighten it too. There you go. So I'm gonna start just mixing that just to make it a little lighter color. And I'm going to wrap this in something moist so it doesn't dry out. I will be using the green again probably. So let's just wrap that up so it doesn't dry out on me. And I'm just going to grab a scissors right here. And gonna just snip. This is one of those little makeup sponges. I'm just cutting it in half because I don't need it to be that big. And I'm gonna use this, the little lighter color I just made. And again, I'm gonna tap it off, my paper towel. I'm gonna do one here. And I'm not even gonna worry that I go right over that middle. Doesn't matter. Do one there. I'm gonna lift it up. I'm gonna do one across the way, pretty much across the way. Back over here. Okay. Sorry guys, my hand's in the way for just a sec. Okay, did one there. I'm gonna do one over here. I need a little more. And I'm going to do one across the way over on this side. Now I am going to add a little detail to these. So I've just got this light color on my outside, and then I even put the center in that color. Now I'm going to go ahead and use one of our detail brushes. What are the skinny ones? And I'm going to pull a little bit of the darker pink, the pink that we started with before I added any white to it. Oh, that one's getting a little frayed. Let's grab a different brush. Let's grab a different one. I'm going to grab this one. It was brand new. I had to get the sizing out of it. Here's a tip for you if you want really, really skinny lines. Sometimes it helps to add just a tiny bit of water, but we're not going to need to with this. And I just roll it so I have a nice, nice point. And I'm just going to, from that center, I'm just going to pull a couple little lines so I've got little petal lines. And it doesn't matter that I go, if I start with my center, they'll get a little lighter as I go out or thinner. We're going to come back and put this color in the center so it doesn't matter that it's kind of sloppy. I'm going to pick this up really close so you see it's kind of messy. But that's okay because I'm just going to start in the middle and I'm just going to pull a couple of the darker color into my petal. Just a couple little ones, okay? Boom, 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 boom. And I'm gonna do that on this one too. And we're gonna come back and do something in that center in just a sec. So this is, while this is, quote, freehanding, it's just to give it a little more color in the petal, a little more detail. And it does not have to be perfect by any means. I'm trying to watch comments too, and it's driving me nuts that I can't see on my iPad what this all looks like, but it's okay. We're gonna make it work. Okay, now, of course, I could come in and use my detail brush and make that center a little darker, or, pretty sure we all have this tool. This is a little Q-tip. I'm going to dip my Q-tip in that color paint, the darker color paint that I just used, and I'm just going to do it right in the middle. One little dot. One little dot. One little dot. And one little dot. So I've got these purple flowers that are filled in, and I've just done this little one. Now I'm going to use that same. Am I going to use that one? Before I do, I think we'll go ahead and use the sunflower. What's the matter?
I'm trying to get your iPad.
Oh, my husband's come down to try to fix my iPad. He's a sweetheart. Again, when I got this set, I made that little mark so I knew which way I should be using my sunflowers. I'm going to just mark off what I'm not going to need. I'm not going to do the watering can. So let's just get rid of that. It might be because I'm not me. Do a little bit on our own. So I'm going to put clusters of these sunflowers in a couple places. Now, because I'm going off, I'm going to have to hold this down a little bit because my edge up is off here. So I can either go in with a sponge. Let's just make it easy. No, there's a brush. I'm using some yellow. And I'm not going to worry if I go over my middle either because I'm going to do something different with my middle. So I've got that green brush. that I can first hold down and hit, oops, offload a little, do a couple of my greens. There's some leaves there. There's some leaves up here. And when you have flowers like this, they are going to overlap a little. Thank you. He's a rock star. Just put yellow on my brush. I'm offloading it. I'm just gonna. So I've got a set of yellow. We'll come back and do something with the centers in just a minute. I'm gonna do one. Let me do one about here. I'm trying to do thirds, but maybe we'll do 4. Do this one here, so I can use the green for my leaves and the yellow for my flowers. So many different flowers we can use from Essential Stencil. It would be really pretty just with the sunflowers too. Okay. Look at there. Don't worry about my middles. I think I'm gonna do a set popping up this way, but I'm gonna do them so they're a little different angle. Just my leaves. Some leaves there. I've got a little leaf here. A little more paint. Taking a little more yellow here. Now, while I've got this one still in place, I'm going to show you that I could, pick up the brown with one of our brushes. Let's grab this one. And go back and line up my sunflowers and just do the centers this way. But what I decided to do is kind of back in with the Q-tip, because I came in the Q-tip and I just did little bits, just some brown dots in my center with the Q-tip. We're gonna need one more cluster of sunflowers right in here. And again, I could use, maybe I just want one here. Maybe I don't want a whole cluster. Maybe I just want this one this time. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do this one big one here, bigger one. And I'm gonna pull a little leaf here and a little leaf up here, because sometimes your leaves are gonna overlap your flowers too. And I'm going to do the same little dots in the center. Okay, so I could keep filling in with more flowers, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to one of our detail brushes and I'm going to go in and play with some of my greens. So here's a little medium green, and I'm just going to add maybe a stem to my flower, or maybe I've got a little curlicue. Now this is not something you'd have to do. You can just go back and add more leaves from one of the stencils, but I kind of wanted to have some curlicues. Maybe I've got a couple times where it comes off, and maybe I just set my brush down and flick it so I have little leaves coming off. This is where you get to be a little more creative. I just wanted mine to look like there was just this bunch of flowers hanging out, having fun together. Someone said they missed the beginning. Really, the only thing we did was we started with a little brown, and then we just started picking some flowers from our stencils to add to this. This is the top of a little table that I picked up at the thrift store for like $7. And it's portable. I'll show it to you when we get it all finished off. And you can get crazy, crazy and add as much as you want. Now, I'm going to show you one little thing that if you had an area that you just didn't know what to put in it, but it needed a little something, something. You can take a brush that's kind of been well loved, kind of something scruffy, and whether it's some greens or some baby's breath or a little filler flower, I'm going to do this with a little bit of greens. I'm going to pick up a little green and I'm going to put this in my brush. I'm going to take like most of it off. So I'm offloading like we offload for stenciling. And if I've got a little area that just needs a little something, I could just tap in a little bit of greenery that comes up from a flower or a little baby's breath with a little white. And that can just be a nice way to fill in some little spots that might need a little something, but you're not sure you want to come back and add another leaf or another flower. And it just kind of softens the areas up a little bit. Just a little filler here and there. And it's also great if you happen to have had a spot that might not have been perfect. You can make it perfect by just adding a little pounce of color. Now I might go back afterwards and add a little more, but I think I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. What do you think? You like it? I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so I said I want this is the top of the table. I'm gonna show you the table when we're done, but I think it would be kind of fun to go ahead and add some butterflies. What do you think? Should we add some butterflies? What do you think? Butterflies? Yes? No? Maybe so? I think I'm gonna add some butterflies. Okay. So I'm gonna grab a couple butterflies. These are our transfers. When you get our transfers, you just peel them off and you put them down where you'd like them to go. Here we go. And they come with this handy dandy little tool. But if by some chance you misplace it or something, popsicle stick will work too. And you just want to rub them on. And then you want to lift them off. Some people lift and rub at one end and go to the other. I tend to rub the whole thing and then lift a corner. And if I have a hard time lifting the corner, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little piece of tape just to give me a place where I can start it off. And I do it slowly to make sure everything is adhered. This one adhered really well. Oh, how cute is that? How sweet is that? Well, added one, we might need to add another one. I'm gonna add this one. Now, this set is the, what set is this? Oh, I didn't put it in the description. I will go back and add it, or I'm sure Essential Stencil will add it. But it's got all these spring flowers and butterflies. So you really could do this tray with these flowers too. But I wanted to stencil some. So let's get this off. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the hearts. How about a hand-painted dragonfly? Okay, okay. Let's do this guy on here first. Got this little butterfly here. Oops. Lifted that off too soon. So we're okay here. Let me get this going here. Hang on. Grab my little piece of tape that I had. It's right here. Oops. And we have a little purpley butterfly. I will do a little hand-painted dragonfly up here, but I'm going to put one more butterfly, I think, on here. Let me see. I believe. I'm going to grab one from here, just so he's a little different color. I think we'll do this guy right here. I'm doing coming off this way. This way. And I'm just gonna have them flying right about. Oh, I think I'm gonna stick it back in here. I stuck him here. I'm gonna grab our little tool. And I'm gonna use that little piece of tape I had to just get it started. Oops, get it started. Show you, get it started. And I got one little spot that's not stuck down yet, so I'm gonna hit it real quick. And then I can lift off. Got a little butterfly there, one there, one there. And someone said they wanted to see a hand-painted dragonfly. Okay, this was not planned, so let me see if I can grab some paint real quick. So I'm gonna grab a metallic paint. And this paint is called Festive Green, and it's metallic. It's a decor metallic paint. And we're going to make this guy pretty quick and easy. I'm going to go ahead and use our little detail brush. And my dragonfly is going to fly this way. So I need some wings. We need a body. We need a body. Let's go with... Actually going to use a little of their metallic zinc color first. It's a dark gray. So I'm just going to give him little tiny eyes and a little collar. And I'm just going to set my brush down and flick it to make his body. So he's got this little body. I know, he's hard to see. I'm going to bring you down. Hang on, hang on. Remember, I wasn't planning on this, so. Do you see him? He's got little eyes. I flicked his little body. Now I'm going to use that metallic paint I said that, and I'm just going to give him a couple wings. I'm going to pull him out, and he's going to have a little fatter next to his body, and he's going to get skinny as he goes out. So I'm going to do this line out. He's going to be a little fatter by his body, and a little skinnier. And his next wing is going to go right below him. Little wings. And we're not going to get real detailed with him, but I will come back and use the skinny little brush and just give him some little dots in his wings. So this is the white metallic. Okay, and I'm going to use one of our little detail brushes, and I'm just going to pick it up from the inside here. Oops. So this is one of those really tiny detail brushes, and so I can use just that very tip, and I'm just going to dot a couple little dots on the lower part of his wings, on the lower one, and the upper one rather, and maybe a couple little dots on the outer part of his wing. And if I want him to have a little more color, I can do that same thing with maybe, oh, we have the purple going on, so do I have a purple here? Doesn't appear so. How about a berry color? I'm just going to add a couple little more dots with this berry color. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we have a little, not overly detailed, but we have a little dragonfly. Okay, let's move to that paint. So I said I thought it'd be fun to have this little bucket that we could use too. I'm gonna go up a little bit. And so this is this bucket. This is also one of my finds that I got for half of that. So $1.99. And I think that bucket could be really cute. I could certainly stencil some of those, more of those same flowers, and it would coordinate. Or I could use some of the rub-ons from the set. So I'm just going to set our tabletop aside for just 1 sec. I'll show it to you when it's all done. And I'm just going to find a spray that I like with some of these flowers on it. And I might add some of the purple ones to it. How big can we go? It's a good size one. I think I'm going to go here. think I like that because it's got a couple butterflies. I think that'll be pretty. So I'm going to cut this spray. It's not. Could I paint this? Yes, I could. But it would take me a whole lot longer. And then this way, if I use the rub-on, maybe I can get to another project. I'm dropping stuff, guys. So, I'm going to think. I want them to be about like that. I don't want them to be more like that. I kind of like that. I kind of like that, because then if you wanted to, you could actually put like an initial here, or even a saying. I'm kind of an off-centered girl, so I think this is going to be good for me to do. This transfer set is beautiful. I use this transfer set, I will show you when I get this on here, on a piece on my live this week, and I absolutely love how it turned out. So here is my piece. I'm looking for my tool. Where did I put it? Well, that's where I said you can use a popsicle stick. So here we go. We're going to use a popsicle stick because I set the tool down. I'm probably shaking you guys. Sorry. Even though that has these little ridges, these transfers work fabulously. Fabulously? New word. So rubbing them all on, and then I'm going to start lifting. Needed to put my green back. Okay. Where did I put? Oh, here it is. Here's the little tool. Here's the little tool. Got a couple little ridges, so I really want to make sure I get them in there before I start lifting. So let's see if we start here. Make sure these are on really good. If when you start lifting, it doesn't want to stick, you just go back over it. So this is metal and the other one was metal. I did make sure they were clean. The other thing I like to do when I do metal, before I paint on it or before I use one of our transfers on it, is I like to wipe it off with rubbing alcohol. I think when we take the time to prep our pieces properly, you have just more success with the end result. Okay, a little bit here. And so it really does make a difference if you just take the time to do a little bit of prep work. Doesn't take long. There are some things that do take longer, but these particular pieces, like I said, these were Goodwill finds. And I think that's a great way to start looking for upcycle projects. And I think it's also a great place to start looking when you're starting to stencil and you're not sure that you want to put a lot of money into surfaces. Go check out your thrift store or your Goodwill. That's pretty. That is really pretty. And it leaves a spot there that I could put an initial if I wanted to, or anything else. What do you think? The cream can, how's that? Yep. Goodwill, thrift stores, garage sales are going to start coming up here pretty soon. So there we have that piece. Okay, so oh, I said I would show you. So can you see the project behind me? It's this little metal, it's a little file can, and then I used some of the same transfers on it, and I stenciled on the top Bloom with Grace, and right now it's just housing some Gerber daisies, but it could house my garden tools. I just love that piece. I think it's really fun. Up top of it again. I love the butterflies that we added. I think that was just a super fun touch, and thanks for asking me to paint a dragonfly with you too. Be sure to pop over and follow me over at Cheers to Creativity. And until I see you again, here or somewhere else, be kind, be safe. Cheers. Bye-bye.